allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay. Motion to pay the bills. I make a motion to pay the bills.
A second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And so ordered, Secretary. Approval of healthcare reimbursement of $2,401.10 for this period. 64.97.95 for 2017. 22.40.37 for 2016. Approved. That's it. I make a motion we approve the reimbursements accordingly.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered, Secretary. Approval of the minutes from the December 5th meeting of 2017.
Make the motion. Frank, did you make a motion?
No. You can make that motion.
Did we get the minutes?
Yeah, was
Okay.
sent them, didn't you?
Okay, I'll
You
make
sent
a
them
motion
to
to
them.
approve the
I
minutes
thought
of
I did.
December 5th, 2017 meeting.
They weren't complete, that's why I won't make a motion.
Okay. All right, if they're not complete,
Why don't you just defer it then until
we'll
we are
defer
complete?
until we,
Yeah.
till the next meeting. Until they
Okay,
get complete.
good.
Okay? Okay.
On the agenda for 2017 is Dallas Township review with Bill Grant.
Okay. Bear with me. What I put together this year is just so all of our residents and also to get into the record exactly what we've done in Dallas Township in 2017. So there is copies of this up in front, so bear with me. I'm going to read through this so it's into the record. Is the correct time I can do that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So first of all, the tax rate. Our real estate tax rate will remain at 1.25 mils for 2018. The last increase was for the tax year beginning in 2016. Our wage tax rate is 1%. There's no increase. Our real estate transfer tax is also at 1%, so there's no increase. Some general financial information as of 12/28/17. Our total cash balance in our Dallas Township bank accounts was $2,982,000. We have certificates of deposits at FNC Bank totaling $500,000. That's included in that 2.9 balance I just mentioned. 2000 surplus, which is unaudited at this point, is at $336,205. It's the 5th year in a row of operating surpluses. Some financial management information. We engaged via request for proposal and was provided with the first independent audit report of the Township's financial information by Baker Tilly, Certified Public Accountants. This is an important function to enable the Township to apply for grants for various projects. We negotiated successfully with our police and road department unions to accept changes in the Township's health care plan provided to our employees. The proposed increase for Primark was between 11 and 12% of our current premium. The final percentage increase resulted in single coverage increasing only 4.9% and our family coverage increasing only 6.1%. The total estimated savings based on those changes amounted to $24,700 for 2018 going forward. 2017 estimated budgeted healthcare self-insured amount is listed at $35,250. We insure a portion of our healthcare and we take that responsibility. We budgeted $35,250. The actual usage through 12/28/17 was, as mentioned in the approvals, was $6,497. The savings versus the budget amount in 2017 was $28,753. We also secured a preliminary approval from the USDA for a $1 million 35-year fixed-rate loan currently quoted at 3.35% for the still pending purchase of the office building at 105 Lieutenant Michael Cleary Drive. The Township pension information. The administration and Township's pension committee reduced our targeted expected rate of return from 6.2 to 6.5% from 7%. This is considered a positive conservative decision on the Township's part by our actuary, Anderson Consulting. The balance of the police pension fund as of 1/1/16 was $4,058,000, round numbers. As of 11/30, when we received our last statement, our balance was $4,500,000, an increase of $442,108. The balance of the non-uniform pension fund as of 1/1/16 was $1,926,000. As of 11/30/17, our balance was $2,153,000, an increase of $226,892. We developed and solicited responses from potential pension financial management firms to manage the Township's 2 pension plans. 7 firms responded. The contract was awarded to INR of Media, Pennsylvania. This firm manages 77 municipal pension funds. Based on our former provider's management fee proposed at 74 basis points, and with our new firm's rate at 43 basis points, the savings is estimated to be approximately $20,600 per year. Some of the capital equipment purchased in 2017 for the road department: a 2017 Felling 14-foot equipment trailer. By 2016, it was new, Caterpillar 420F backhoe. And the pride of the fleet currently, a 2017 Freightliner all-wheel drive dump truck snowplow salt spreader that cost $179,000.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. The police department equipment, 2017, we purchased a police cruiser fully outfitted for $36,119. Also an unmarked 2017 police cruiser for $28,746. Also have new taser equipment for each of our officers. Grants and contributions successfully awarded to the Township for various projects. An LSA grant for the development and the construction of the Dallas Township Playground, $236,194. No Township matches required. A DCNR grant for the balance of the funds requested for the development of the construction of the playground, $200,000 was awarded to the Township with a 50% match required by the Township. DEP grant for the design and the permitting of the Toby Creek Stream Bank restoration along the proposed Dallas Township Playground for $36,550, 15% Township match. We also secured a $75,000 private cash contribution to the park construction by the Metz family. Right now, at this point, we have all the funds necessary for the construction of the park, and we're putting together the bid right now with Barry Isett, and hopefully it'll be out to bid hopefully by the spring or early summer. Some of the community events: the Dallas Township Bicentennial Celebration events conducted throughout 2017. There was many events that were very successful. Dallas Harvest Festival held at the Dallas School District campus, which was a huge success, and we thank the Dallas School District for allowing us to have it at the campus. And our first ever Dallas Township Christmas tree lighting ceremony attended by over 300 plus residents, and I'd like to thank Brenda Pugh. You did a great job in your committee in pulling that together, and it was, as many people said, a hallmark moment. It was a great event. Thank you. Some of the road department accomplishments: received 2 grants for stormwater and road improvements, upgraded 18 lane miles of gravel roads, 2 lane miles of roads paved by the department, in addition to numerous road areas milled and sectional pave repairs, and the roads paved by subcontractors this year were Skyview, Woodcliff, and Grandview. 3,128 lane feet milled and paved. Some of our police department accomplishments this year: we increased the force's manpower by adding additional police officer, established the position of assistant police chief. The department was reaccredited by the Pennsylvania Police Chiefs Association, implemented the online record management system for the department, and Officer R.J. Odgers was designated as the Back Mountain Regional Drug Coordinator. And lastly, the administrative accomplishments: we successfully negotiated a union contract with the road department and their union, Teamsters Local 401. and a comprehensive plan for the rezoning of the township forwarded to the zoning board for review. We're expecting a 2018 approval by the Board of Supervisors, and the township zoning officer issued 165 building permits in 2017. So that's some of the accomplishments that we accomplished in 2017. We're looking forward to a successful 2018.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2, motion to approve resolution 2018-1, a resolution to levy and reenact the 511 taxes. Real estate tax for the year 2018 is 1.25 mils. Real estate transfer tax for the year 2018, a value of the real estate transferred. Earned income tax for 2018 is 1%, and the local service tax for the year of 2018 is $52. We have papers here that we have to sign for that.
You first have the motion on that, the motion to approve all of those.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Can I have I'll make the motion. Can I have a second on it?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good.
And it's probably worthwhile noting, we don't have the per capita this year, and that was eliminated, so, and we still didn't have a tax increase, so that was a good, that was a pain in the neck to send that extra, the paperwork, if you have a $10.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, no, I was just thinking about.
The motion to approve resolution 2018-2, a resolution appointing and authorizing the locally elected tax collector to provide tax certification upon request by the public and to access, collect, and retain a fee of $10 as compensation. I got another paper here. I make a motion that we approve this tax.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Second it.
He second.
You heard the motion regularly moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved, Secretary. Motion to approve resolution 2018-3, a resolution to oppose House Bill 1620 entitled the Wireless Infrastructure Development Bill, whereby Dallas Township agrees to support the deployment of the broadband services, both wired and wireless, in our community and throughout the Commonwealth. Make that a motion.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and so we're Secretary. Okay, number 5. We got the school board here. Or not the school board, but motion to approve resolution 2018, a resolution to approve DSD Component 3 Sewerage Plan Modula for the Dallas School District.
Do you have anything to
I don't know where that is.
add on that?
I need,
Yeah, that's basically normal procedure.
Okay.
With the moratorium that you requested about before,
yes,
DEP did send the Dallas Township a letter and the school district that they are exempt, and they granted the exemption for the new school since they're replacing the existing school, and the sewage flows are actually projected to be less. So I would recommend you execute the planning module.
make a motion on that.
A second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so are the secretary.
Thank you.
This is the paperwork on that. And,
I have everything.
huh?
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll have to be executed by you, Frank, signed by you, and signed by Dan also.
Mhm.
Justin, look it over and let me know if everything's okay.
Okay,
All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Problem.
Thank you.
Number 6, conditional use waiver request from Fellowship Church. That's up here on Hildebrandt, am I right? Fellowship Church, Nance, do you know, or?
There's a gentleman here, like the engineer.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, my name is Keith Miller with Bassett Engineering. Yes, what the church is proposing is an approximately 28,500 square foot expansion. For those of you who are not familiar, the existing buildings create kind of a three-sided courtyard. What they're proposing is to fill that courtyard with a new sanctuary, extending approximately 30 feet beyond the existing west limit of the buildings. And then, in addition to that building expansion, they're looking at paving the portions of their existing parking lot that are currently gravel, as well as some new paved parking lot in the northwest quadrant that is the existing residence and lawn areas. So what I understand we can't necessarily get a recommendation or a approval from you this evening, but this is more to familiarize you with the project. What we're requesting is a waiver of the conditional use requirement. Conditional use is normally a requirement for this use in this zone. Based on discussions with your zoning officer and your engineer, we have submitted a request of that requirement for this church expansion.
With all of the paving that's required, additional parking, is land development required?
Oh, land development will definitely be required.
Okay, so do they have to go through that first before we give conditional approval?
No,
No?
they can't, they cannot go, correct me, Carl, they cannot submit land development application until they have a conditional use approval. Or a waiver, but the ordinance allows for a waiver, or what we've gone through the conditional use for the schools, ecumenical enterprise.
Right, and we gave waivers to the school and EEI. We did not give waivers.
No,
Okay. So this would be the first time we would be giving a waiver for conditional use?
let's just back this up a bit. Has a conditional use application been filed? Or are you just asking for a waiver generally?
That is correct.
Which is correct.
That we are at the moment asking for the waiver of the requirements.
So we don't even, we don't have any information really, other than the summary that you gave. But, you know, the supervisors have the right to waive the conditional use requirement. And a lot of times, that's really amounts to, a primary thing is the waiver of the environmental impact statement. As I explained the supervisors are certainly willing to entertain your request to waive it, but based upon your summary that you just gave it now, I don't know that you have the information that you would feel comfortable to doing that. So,
Well, do you mind if I interject?
oh, by all means.
This project is somewhat unique. There was an environmental impact statement done originally for the church. If you're ever at the church, it's actually three sides and they're closing in the middle.
Right. It's shaped like a U.
It's like, yeah, exactly. The church complex is like a U.
A
They're
U.
closing in between the two wings. They're gonna close in. So basically, what I told Mr. Bassett Engineering, that they read the ordinance. The area is an A1 zone. And Carl and I went over this. A conditional use is required in an A1 zone where there is one of two conditions met. There's more than 80,000 square foot of earth disturbance going to take place, or there is
15,000 square foot of building and structure or impervious surface area.
going to be constructed.
So they're gonna be qualifying under the 15,000 square foot, not the 80,000.
So because they're asking for 18,500 square feet, they're over the 15,000
Right.
square feet.
Right.
So that by virtue of the ordinance, they have to get they'll have to go through the conditional use process unless the supervisors waive it.
Right, what they're looking for, Tom, excuse me, but is, instead of going through the process of the conditional use, they're asking for a waiver not to go through that process. But they still have to go through planning and zoning and everything else.
Right, they'll still be required to submit a land development.
Oh, yes.
Regardless of what we say,
Oh, yes, exactly. They still have to go through that process.
But we made the school district and EEI and everyone go through the conditional use process. So they're asking for a waiver on this.
I think that's a good summary of it, and I think I understood everything you said, even with my limitations and engineering things, and I can understand the simplicity of it. If we're just getting this, I didn't see this until right just this minute. You know, it's almost like we should have the input of our engineers or the planning commission or something to tell us, well, this is maybe technical, maybe they'll tell us technically under the subdivision and land development ordinance, this is required, but because of the nature of the development there, and because it's such a small amount, in excess of 15,000, then we have the comfort of knowing we can waive it. Or we get that either from our engineers, or we get it from the planning commission. But just sitting here tonight and saying, well, let's waive it, without having more detail is difficult. Am I making myself
What's
clear?
my understanding, and certainly your professionals can overrule it,
for the amount of footage, yeah.
that I'll also be presenting this to the planning commission next week, and they will make a recommendation. I'm hoping that it'll be a favorable recommendation to this waiver request. At that point, that will be back in your hands to approve or agree or disagree with them, depending on the recommendation they make.
Because the ultimate decision belongs to the supervisors. We've always relied upon the
Planning and zoning.
planning and the engineers telling us what their input is.
Plus, we'd have to have the public hearing.
Well, no, not if you waive what's going to happen is, what they're asking for is a waiver of the conditional use process. Which means you won't have to have the public hearing, which we're entitled to do. But all I'm suggesting is that let us make that request to the planning commission and to our engineers, so that the supervisors who have asked other people to go through this process, and because our ordinances strictly speaking require it, will have some confidence in knowing that the waiver is appropriate in this case.
Now, Question, have we allowed waivers under the conditional use prior to?
Not to my knowledge.
Right, that's what I was just wondering. So we'd be setting a precedent by doing this.
Probably usually that went through the planning commission. The planning commission would
Right.
recommend to the supervisors that it's okay to do
And
waivers.
then it comes back.
Nothing's ever went ahead of us.
Right.
I think that's exactly right, Jack. That's all we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
Is that if you go to the planning, but then they have the expertise to advise us.
Okay.
I think the main reason of me taking your time this evening was just to build some familiarity for you with the request you're making. And maybe get a reaction that there's no way we can do that.
Well, it's good that you brought this in. Now when the planning commission talks to us, we know what they're talking about.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Tammy, are they on the agenda for the plan?
We're just discussing that.
You need to let them know that they gotta get their information into you at least 2 weeks ahead of
No, he
time.
couldn't be on the agenda until they made a ruling tonight.
Right.
I thought that the conditional use application came to us. We had to give it to the planning commission 30 days ahead of the hearing.
That's right. But what he's asking is not to have anything, not even have to make the application. He's trying to get this early. And we, I don't think we want to do that.
I don't wanna go above Bill McCall.
Yeah, you don't want to. I don't want to go.
This is
None of us
part
do.
of the area, just to keep it straight. For 2 years now, we've been working on a comprehensive plan, and we finally concluded that, I hope. I think we did. And the recommendations to the Board of Supervisors are obviously gonna affect the school district, Misericordia, and the institution to an institutional district, which will eliminate the schools, Misericordia, and I believe a few of the churches are involved in that, some of those districts. Out
I
by,
don't know of any.
Not the church.
No.
out by Ecumenical Enterprise, that church on the hill, that area is part of.
That was
That's the only one, Tom.
Would not have to come, it'll be rezoned, so the conditional use won't apply, which it shouldn't. Because the conditional use is because they're in an A1 area.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Motion to set employee wages for 2018. Secretary Treasurer Nancy Palutis, $52,212 annually. Township Clerk Tammy Miller, $17.06 part-time, average 30 hours a week. Zoning Officer and Code Enforcement Carl Albert, $22.64 an hour. I don't know how many hours we have or what it is.
Carl, 34,
We're at 37.
37?
Okay. Police Secretary Susan Maloney, $13.26 an hour. Roadmaster Martin K. Barry, salaried at $36,704.
63.
Truck drivers, as detailed in the union contract, is $22.80 per hour. Housekeeper Hope Wanick, $15.38 part-time.
Just want to make a correction to Martin's salary. You said 36. It's 63,704.
Did I say
Yeah,
36?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So,
Will you take that cut? Okay,
motion?
I make a motion. Do I have a second on their salaries?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So we're the secretary. Number 8, appoint members to serve on the township representative and alternate on the Back Mountain Community Partnership. Bill Grant, I think you said you would serve on it,
I don't know.
an alternate. Do you wanna do that? Or
The meeting's at 3 o'clock and the road department works till 3:30, so you'll probably have to be the alternate.
Okay. Alternate. I'll make that motion. All in favor? A motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and so ordered, Secretary. Motion to approve, oh wait. A motion to approve ordinance 2018-1, an ordinance to create the position of Township Manager. This is just the ordinance. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So we're the secretary. Number 10, motion to approve resolution 2018-5, resolution whereby the Board of Supervisors of Dallas Township established a 5-person panel to review credentials and interview prospect candidates for Township Manager. Motion to advertise the position of Township Manager. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So ordered, Secretary. Number 11, motion to amend Resolution 2017-4, DEP's Growing Greener Grant for the design of Toby Creek Stream Bank Stabilization and Stormwater Improvement Project to include a maximum grant dollar amount not to exceed $36,550. With the project completion date of December 31, 2020, designated Supervisor Bill Grant to execute all further documents and agreements between Dallas Township and Department of Environmental Protection required to facilitate and assist in the grant. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So ordered, Secretary. SPCA of Luzerne County, a letter. What's that all about?
They want us, if we don't sign that partnership agreement with them, then they positively will not pick up any of our dogs, basically. We've already sent them the letter saying that we were going with Blue Chips.
Right.
Blue chip.
Blue chip.
Blue chip.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no response. Number 13, Yallick Farms, luxury condos and shops, letter of credit reduction in the amount of $50,880. The existing letter of credit is posted in the amount of $193,777.75 per Tom Doughton's certification letter. A revised letter of credit to be posted in the amount of $142,897.75. Can I get a motion on that? To reduce the credit? And,
We're okay? Okay.
everything okay on it?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye. notification received that Sue's Water PA has applied to the PA Department of Environmental Protection for a stream crossing permit along Hildebrand Road. I think that's just
It's just
to
notified.
tell us,
That's that culvert they gotta replace, Frank, on Hilton Grand.
yeah,
So, they have to
Go to
notify
the-
the owner.
Oh, I got it, okay.
okay. Notification received from them that the 2018 sewer rate has been set at $428 per unit for this year. We will still realize the lowest sewer rate in the Back Mountain, Harvey's Lake area, and will remain below the state average of approximately $500 per unit per year. The recycle rates will remain the same at $240 per unit. And that's pretty good, I can't believe that. 20 years ago, I was paying a private hauler $200. Okay, police department update. Oh, okay. Robert?
Yeah, we'll be completing the mandatory in-service training at no cost to the township by the end of January. And 3 officers will be attending critical incident training, which is dealing with people that are mentally challenged. This will bring us up to the 6 officers that completed the training. And that particular training has also been made part of the mandatory police academy training that's just going into effect with this academy. Also at no cost to the township.
Good. Okay, Martin, we got 20 minutes,
We'll keep it,
maybe a half hour we'll give you.
no, we'll keep it quick. Since the last meeting in December, we got another 2 days in with the leaf vac truck. We were out pothole patching, we finished some sectional repairs. All the snow removal equipment has been put in service and everything is working right now. And we've been dealing with the inclement weather. That's it.
One set for Christmas tree pickup, not Nicole,
All for Christmas tree pickup, we'll just keep it as the same
third week.
third week like we've been.
Yeah, Christmas tree pickup, that'll be available anytime through the month of January, am I right?
We see it, we're gonna pick it up, but we take 1 week out of the month and target the whole township. We get everybody out there and get them picked up as best we can.
Okay, good. Citizens' comments. Shoot.
Frank, I'd just like to say one thing to the supervisors, and I talked to Liz about this before.
Actually, I was just gonna bring it up. Go ahead.
Okay.
She had her hand up behind you.
Blue Chip is not open 24 hours a day. They have certain hours. After hours, if you need to pick up a dog, or you need somebody to pick up a dog, if you call me or call the kennels, we will be glad to pick them up. We work with the state police. We pick dogs up in Choppin, on Canny, all over. And the only thing we do, there's no charge to the township at all. But when people pick up their dog, they will pay a normal boarding rate. And, you know, we went out at 1 o'clock in the morning. The Dallas Township Police have called me. Brian brought dogs out 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just throwing that out there that you guys can continue to do that.
I had an incident with the SPCA where I called 8 o'clock at night and they told me to bring the dog up there. I called Jack Dotson, he said if you can't get somebody, he'll bring the dog to the kennel. So, and Blue Chip the next day came for the dog.
I think we should adopt
And what we,
that.
Absolutely.
If there's
what we
any,
do, we advertise. The girls go on Facebook and they advertise the dogs. We will call the SPCA, see if anybody's been looking for a dog. We will not take a dog down to the SPCA. We had a guy the other day that took a dog down there and they said, we don't have any room for it, but we'll put it down for you. So, we won't do that. If we had the dog 5 days or more, then we'll call Blue Chip, and we'll either take it over to Blue Chip, or we'll do our best to find whose it is.
Jack, you have a chip scanner?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that,
Yep.
very good.
I'm fine with that arrangement. Okay.
I think that's a good.
I just wanted to throw it out, so,
Oh, that's
you know.
fantastic, thank you.
And we
And
appreciate it.
we've even had accidents where they had an accident up here, by the high school, and we went up and picked the dog up.
Very, very helpful to the local police department.
Good.
I have a request, I guess, as a citizen, since Mr. Duffy is here from the Dallas School District. Our Christmas tree lighting was, I felt, a huge success. A lot of people there just thought it was absolutely just wonderful. And we'd like to know if we can keep the electric service and so forth, if it's okay with you and your board to allow that, so we can plan that even for next year. So if that's a possibility, if you can run it by your board, we'd like to know that, because it was a great community event for the people. I don't know who, everybody who attended, it was just wonderful.
I was there, and it was a fantastic event. Mr. Pugh actually made that a condition of my attendance tonight. So he saw me in the parking lot, and he prepped me on the poll, the UGI poll piece. But I'll take that back, and I don't initially see any concern whatsoever. It was a great event, and it looks like something that'll be beneficial annually here in the township.
Great,
So
thank you.
I'll follow up, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
Great, thank you very much.
As long as we can get a little light snow every year, that was very nice. You guys arranged that just perfectly.
We did.
That was nice. Thanks, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Alan.
I'd just like to say congratulations to Chief Jolly on his retirement and Chief Higgins on his appointment.
Congratulations.
Great job.
I'm not going anywhere yet, and he'll be here for a while, a little bit yet, and
He's done a
still
great job.
welcome you.
He's done a great job as
Yeah.
well as all of our
There-
officers. We have a first-class police department, and Bob, really, you should, pat yourself on the back. You've done
we
a great
came a
job.
long way from that little white house down here in the corner.
Well, that predates me.
Yep. Okay, go ahead, Brenda.
Thank you. I just want to talk about the Christmas tree, because it is still up over there. And Alan's timer has officially retired for the season, so the tree won't be turned on anymore this year.
Yes, thank you to Sue Van Horn, who's been
Yeah.
turning it on and off every day, by the
Oh,
way.
that's nice. We do have to get it down, since
You can't put
December
a
is over.
timer on it?
It takes a lot of power because we use traditional lights, thinking it was a one-time event. So we bought them the end of last year's Christmas, and so it would be bright from the road. So they're
It's
the
very
original old 7-watt bulb. So that thing took 4
That's why they
generators.
blew?
Yeah, it took 4 generators to run that while we were waiting for the power to finish.
I can promise you it did not go out during the ceremony or at all after we finished it. Anyway, what I wanted to bring up is, one, we're probably gonna need some help from the township. Now Liz and her husband has agreed to come over and help us get the lights and stuff down with their equipment. But being so cold, I'm sure Mark can appreciate the hydraulics and stuff could be an issue once I get over there. So we'd like to wait until it warms up a little bit. Hopefully we get that January thaw. We'll get that down. But we're gonna need someplace to store the lights. They are glass. They're the true old-fashioned bulbs. And we're gonna need someplace to store that monstrous stand.
Well, we can store the stand right alongside that old generator out there. I got a place for the stand.
Yeah, because the stand was donated by Paul Woodman, and that was handmade, and
Yep.
Martin knows the size of the beast.
It's a good one.
Does it come apart?
It comes, yeah, it's
No, it's
The
welded.
legs are long.
four legs,
It's welded,
it's it's 4 legs that unbolt,
yeah.
the centerpiece, and then it's got 2, 4, 6, 8 big tent stakes that go with it, to put it together.
To drive in.
And Martin, you got a way to maybe chop it down?
Now, maybe
I
in,
think we can figure that out.
And get it out of there?
maybe in May we'll get that down.
No.
A little chilly.
We don't have any idea the weather's the way it is this year.
I just put it in the head.
We're breaking all kind of records.
Yeah, we need to do that. And I want to thank the school district for distributing those ornaments, because that was one of the coolest parts, watching whole families hanging them. Yeah, so.
I think the weather kept some people away. Hopefully next year the snow come first, and then we'd get everybody there, and hit at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But I think we still had well over 300 people.
Oh,
I think-
easy.
I think our hot chocolate lady back there said they used, what, about 400 cups? So, we figured it was probably around 350 at least.
The other thing, and it gets going, I noticed a little bit, not only was the True Lighting, I think, a huge success, but we had 17 entries or better in the decorating contest. And
Yes.
Mary Lou and the Bloomers organized that. That is something also I think you can consider, Mary Lou and the Bloomers are willing to do that again for us. I think that was a really nice
Yeah, I think we'll
gesture.
have better participation next year even in that.
If people are talking about it, what do you mean I could enter my house? Oh, you're too late. Physical therapist from Elm Crest got me
You?
today.
Excuse me, you decide on disconnecting the power and then hooking it back up, want to hook back up in November? Or
We
you're gonna
just
keep
talked
it
about that.
on all summer?
Yeah, and that's something you have to consider. They only charge you when we use it, but right now we have that, we did a temporary pole. So with the school district's okay, what we do is have them set a regular pole so it can stay there permanently. And then we just borrowed the pedestals from the fair to run the power over. So you can make a decision.
You want to shut off now? Or you want to leave the power on all summer?
We haven't done anything yet because if we shut it off, as you know, we have to pay, I think, to re-inspect it.
No, there was no charge for inspection.
Oh, they
on that
didn't?
power.
I'm sorry?
There was no fee
No charge.
on the inspection.
Oh, well, we did have to send a check to UGI.
UGI, yes, but not to.
Okay, they did
our
the inspection. We did have to send a check for UGI to get it hooked up. So what we'll do is call and see, does it make more sense to leave it on and lock it or to terminate it?
Whether disconnect or reconnect, there's
I
probably
don't know
a
the
fee
answer
there.
yet, because it wasn't planned to stay originally.
I don't know. It's a good thing it isn't downtown, somebody run away with it, but
Be
out
plugged
there,
into
it's
it.
gonna be all right.
Main court across the street.
So, Brenda, with your discussion here, I'm assuming that you're gonna chair the Christmas tree lighting next year?
Only if I have the exact same committee that I had
Yeah,
this
great
year, there was no
Good
way.
job.
And a lot of that was, Bill, as you know, donated between Liz and everybody calling in, between the trolley and everything. That was all
was great.
donated from the community.
I'd like to adjourn, but we got Mr. Mead here. And we have,
I think I married to Mr. Mead.
we have a park,
You wouldn't be smiling.
our Kunkel Park. We have a few problems, and whether he wants us to adjourn and we sit down and we discuss it, or we do it here. Whatever you.
I think we should adjourn and discuss it.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep everybody here.
You still have one other
have everything that we need.
meeting.
Before you adjourn, I was hoping to just bring up one point. My name is Joe Dreyer. I was here a couple meetings ago, and I missed last meeting. My mom filled me in. She mentioned there was some discussion about the issue I brought forth, and as well as one of my neighbors about the shooting incident. And I know I got here late, I had some childcare issues, I apologize, but I was wondering if there's any discussion of that during the meeting, so I don't repeat anything. They got an issue that involved Upper Des Moines Road, shooting across the road, I don't know if you all recall that, from Goodley Farms. I didn't know if there was any discussion, because my mom said last meeting there was some discussion about it. I didn't know any discussion thus far.
The water problem on,
No,
up by Goodley?
the
No.
shooting incident, Frank, the shooting
Oh,
incident with.
that's all taken care of? The man paid his debt?
Okay, last I heard, I do work with the woman whose house was affected. Last I heard, the debt was not paid, and this was just a number of days ago. I don't know when, if that happened since I spoke with her, but my understanding is it was not paid. I guess my question is, what is the status of this situation? I know there was some talk about if there was any way to finagle some of the regulations or not, and there was going to be some looking into that. Is that accurate? No.
$737. He paid the guy, I know it.
Okay.
Not him, the insurance man.
Frank, he's asking if there's any progress on an ordinance for the shooting, right?
No, there was no violation.
No, he's asking if we have if you guys made any progress on establishing an ordinance about the shooting ranges.
We don't have no shooting range.
He's asking, did you put an ordinance yet, is what he's asking. Remember, he's been here asking for an ordinance against the shooting ranges? Tom, remember?
I think the last time I delivered to everybody a copy of the ordinance we have in place about shooting in the township, which we found was more comprehensive than neighboring municipalities. And it seemed to, if it's obeyed and if it's enforced, it's a good ordinance. The next question became whether the township would establish within its boundaries as a township facility a shooting range. And the discussion last month, as I heard it, was that there are shooting ranges available outside of the township that can be better that are well regulated and are not that inconvenient for people to go to. There was also talk about whether you could use the IRM one or others. I believe you asked the question, Mr. Nadel, about the different ones. And if I heard what I think the supervisors were telling me last month, is that the decision for the township to establish a separate and distinct shooting range within the township by the township was not something that you felt was necessary, given the fact that there are such ranges in relatively close proximity. And let me see what else there was. So it was discussed, is what I'm trying to answer the question. Right. I'm trying to phrase it as best I can. Yeah. The other thing was, when you go through the ordinance, there are certain things that you can do on your property, but I can't remember they have to be done under the ordinance which we have now, which I was glad to see, specifically says that the requirements for any kind of shooting ranges on your property, and Carl or somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, have to be in accordance with the requirements of the
NRA.
With the
NRA.
NRA. I'm sorry, I'm not an NRA member, so I wasn't sure what the initials were. But with the NRA.
Yeah.
So they're already provided for in our ordinance. So I think we felt that our ordinance was a reasonable balance and an appropriate balance if it's properly enforced, and also that it was not necessary for the township to establish its own independent shooting range. On the particular matter involving the shooting, I believe the district attorney's office issued an extensive letter on it that was made available, and I read the letter, and as I understand it, the parties involved, people who did, apologized for whatever harm was done, and I don't remember whether it said we paid it or we agreed to pay it. And the further thing with my understanding is that the gentleman whose door was shot at was met with the detectives, and they were satisfied with the result. That's the best summary I can give you as to what happened last week.
Okay.
Last month.
So,
Did I say it correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so, and I guess one thing I pose to you all is, could we even go beyond what is state ordinance, state game laws for shooting? And I didn't know. That's, I think, what
Okay.
part of the question was. And, you know, I don't remember it being specifically about a separate range, but, you know, going back to the ordinance, I mean, the other issue is and I'll have to confirm this, but I don't know that the door was paid for. The last time I heard, it was in negotiations through the insurance companies, but I don't know that that was paid for. I don't know there was an apology given, but I could be wrong, and this was just maybe a week ago that I spoke with a woman, so maybe something happened since then. But going back to enforcing the code, so are you saying then that the district attorney felt that there was no crime committed? Is that accurate?
That was the determination of the district attorney's office.
So then is also the opinion of this police department then that there was no crime committed? Is that true?
At any time there's a violation, under the code, they can they can be, a violator can be taken to the magistrate for a criminal proceeding where there's a specific fine that's involved. This was going even further to see what should be done. The district attorney's office, in an extensive letter with numerous interviews, declined to get involved and said that they didn't feel that crime was involved. So I'm not going to try to summarize what the district attorney's office, maybe if you have the letter that was made available to you, but I'm just trying to summarize to you at the meeting where you weren't here, what transpired on this issue as best I can. And recognizing too that we live in a municipality where there's the how could I put it? There's the desire for gun rights and properly used gun control with proper control, and the ordinance, I think, it was satisfied that if it was complied with, there should never be any difficulty. But if there is, the police have the authority to, through the code enforcement, well, not even so much of the code enforcement, it's a violation, it's a criminal violation if there's that somebody can go to the magistrate and have a summary proceeding, into criminal proceedings before the magistrate.
So then, my question to you, so I succumbed to the idea, obviously I have young children, and as I mentioned, a story about a bullet flying into my neighborhood and hitting my neighbor's house when they were out playing basketball. So this, is very near and dear to my heart, very emotional subject for me. I've come to the realization, and I respect the gun rights of all the citizens of Dallas Township. I think it's absolutely important to own a gun, fire a gun. I'm behind that 100%. What I think is what we have to prevent against, obviously, the reason there's zoning and codes and ordinances, is that gun fire does not land on someone's property that is not unintended to be fired upon, or cross a road like it did in this case, where kids run. So I guess what I was fishing for previously with this case is how in the world do we protect the citizens of Dallas Township if the codes aren't enforced appropriately? Because from what I can see, this gentleman should have been fined, whoever was involved in this. That it seems very black and white to me. I'm not a lawyer, I could be wrong. But the question going forward is, if this happens again, what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it to keep my kids safe? Is there going to be a violation? Is there going to be a penalty? Is there going to be a fine? Because in my opinion, the only way to keep this from happening again, or best keep it from happening again, is if there's something, there's some penalty for doing this. And I mean, and with a gun range issue, I mean, I don't know if I'm reading this right or wrong, but the exclusions in the firearms section, I think 46.3, says that you could literally have fire within 150 feet of property as long as it's within an NRA approved gun range. Is that accurate? So in other words, in the Maples where I live, I could have a gun range in my backyard.
150 yards.
But there's an exception under that clause.
I don't want to, you have the ordinance that's been given to it, it's available for you. You can do it within 150 yards. You cannot cross someone else's property.
Right.
You cannot go across. And then if that exists, then you call the police and you ask them to enforce the ordinance which we have, that there's a violation, and the police under the ordinance can take that to the magistrate for a criminal proceeding.
Yeah.
If there's also the possibility of going to the district attorney for state crimes, then they could do that as well.
Right. So why didn't it happen? But you're telling me if you asked them to do that, why didn't it happen in this case?
Okay. I don't know why it didn't happen in this case. If you read the ordinance, you can see, and we've made the point of saying that when that happens, we enforce our ordinance, and we also can ask the district attorney for an investigation, which is what happened here. It wasn't proceeded. People were given a warning rather than being going to the magistrate to be said that there was an actual violation which occurred. Okay, and I hope that, and you're not the only person with children. You're not the only person that concerns about these things.
Absolutely.
I certainly live in the woods. I know what it's like. I'm very conscious of it. But we have to try to balance this as best we can. If you're happy to look at, be pleased to have you look at the ordinance, and I think you'll find it complies with what we can do. And actually, I think if you compare it with other municipalities, it's a very thorough ordinance. And I think that we're all on notice now that if there is a violation of that ordinance, that we will move to proceed with criminal proceedings before the magistrate for the violation of that ordinance and any other things that the district attorney's office will
If
continue
it
to
should
proceed.
violate that ordinance.
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
and our officers did a thorough investigation that day.
Right.
Okay, we made a conclusion that there was no crime committed. People weren't happy, we went to the district attorney's office, who did an extensive investigation. They also came out and concluded there was no crime committed.
But there was a
Okay,
violation of the zoning ordinance, is that correct?
No, not in our opinion. We
But if
did
a
the
bullet
inve-
crossed-
Let me finish,
Sorry.
please. I know you're upset. And your answer to, I'm afraid of my kids being outside all the time and I don't know if they're gonna get hit. We can't guarantee nobody's gonna get hurt. People hunt over here in March's Field, which is miles away. But if somebody shoots at a deer and misses and hits a rock and it ricochets, it could hit a car, which we had. Okay, so there's no guarantee anybody's safe from flying bullets, okay? You have to understand, when our guys go out and investigate, if we feel there's a code enforcement violation, we usually contact the code enforcement officer. Okay, that event that happened that day was a ricochet. No other things were violated that we could take it to the magistrate. Now, that doesn't prohibit the victim, if he's not satisfied, or they're not satisfied, from going to the local magistrate and proceeding on his own.
Sure.
But our guys determined it wasn't a crime.
Okay.
So then we went to the next step, to the district attorney's
Right,
office.
but I'm having trouble understanding, the bullet crossed the property line, went across a state road.
But it wasn't an intentional act.
But
It was
why does
a
it matter if
ricochet.
it's a ricochet or not?
Because that's the law, if you read the law.
It has to, you say it has to be intentional?
Yes.
But isn't reckless
Intentional, reckless.
endangerment?
Well, he was shooting into a dirt bank and it ricocheted off of a rock.
I still don't understand, I don't understand why intention is required in this crime. Because it's an unintentional crime by definition, is that true?
Intentional, knowingly, recklessly, none of that fit. Not, and the victim wasn't satisfied, so we went to the district attorney, who was the sole prosecutor in this county. And when the district attorney says, nope, no crime, there's no crime.
Right, but I'm going back to the initial assessment that you made, is if, it doesn't matter if a bullet ricochets or not, if he intended to do it, he'd be trying to kill somebody, right?
Different.
Yeah,
If it
but
was
of
intent-
course
it's
he
not
didn't
intentional.
intend for the
Look,
bullets to go
look,
into the doorway.
It's-
It's reckless endangerment by
It's
definition.
not, it's not, it's not. Our police department determined it wasn't, I determined it wasn't, and the district attorney themselves determined it was not.
2 times.
Okay, so if the victim's not happy, they can proceed on their own, they can proceed civilly.
Right, and that's fine, that's a different issue. I mean, you know, you have literally, a school district within a mile, within easy range of
I get it.
these guns, and it's like, when do you pull it?
I know what you're saying, and I understand your concern, I have kids too.
Yeah,
So
and
you're
I'm
outside.
trying to speak for everybody's kids, because I think that somebody needs to, and I think it's important.
There's really no solid guarantee it won't happen again.
Right, and I know that, and I understand accidents happen, but it's, the point being is that people have to be called to task for things they do that they shouldn't be doing. This was reckless in my opinion. He was shooting at a dirt mountain. Was that an NRA-approved gun range when you got there?
I don't know anything about that. No, that's why we call our zoning enforcement, but
Well, was it an NRA-approved gun range they were using? No, it was not.
Well, what happens if there was a hunter over there, like he says, and the bullet hit a deer or hit a ricochet rock, okay, and went off and hit the door?
But he
and
wasn't
never
hunting.
found, and they never found the
Right,
person.
but he wasn't hunting, he was target shooting, is that true?
Anybody could target shoot, okay? They were in violation because he was not 150 yards from a structure. That's what it says in the ordinance. He was given a violation notice, okay, and it never happened again. If it happened again, he would've got a fine for the magistrate.
I'm not satisfied that my children are safe in the Maples with this, this type of justice, to be very honest with you. I think I deserve to be safe, and I think everyone does. Thank you for your time.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.